record. Now that the recording is finished, here is what we see. Here's the preview of what the finished video will look like in the main window. And on the bottom, you can see two different tracks. We have the camera track and we have the screen recording track. Let's say you only wanted the camera to appear in part of your video. You can actually trim the file like this. So if I move the playhead, you'll notice there's no camera yet and it only appears here. Now you also might want to change the positioning or the size. So you can treat it just like you would move a shape around in a document. You can change the size, you can change how close it is to the edge. And if you wanted it to be in the bottom for parts or the top, what you could do is start by putting it here. And then if you split this media track by right-clicking, and then you can click split at playhead or use the T shortcut. Now that you have two different pieces, you can change where the camera appears. So if I moved the camera to the top, you'll notice that here in the first track, it's still at the bottom, and then now it has moved to the top. In ScreenFlow, there are so many other editing settings. You can see just a snippet of possibilities along the top, anything from adding text to drawing. You can add different call-out moments. There's just so much that you can do. You can add additional files to the end. You can add music, you can add sound, you can add media files. It is a very robust video editing tool in addition to being a recording tool. But just to wrap up this tutorial, you would want to save this file. And then if you ever needed to publish it, you could either publish directly to one of these locations, which I don't typically do. What I typically do is just export the video and then I upload it into either YouTube or into my online course, depending on what I'm creating. I also want to briefly talk about Zoom. Zoom has to be the most well-known virtual meeting space, and you might want to record your live workshops or events and record yourself and your screen at the same time, or you may be curious if you can use it without any attendees to create this type of video. So that's exactly what I'll show you how to do. You'll first need to create your own account at zoom.us. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the app on my computer. This is the home tab of the Zoom app on my computer. And if you were recording a live event, you would likely schedule it under the meetings tab, or perhaps it's already scheduled. But I'm just going to go ahead and start a new meeting. There I am. Wow, larger than I expected. I'm going to go ahead just briefly. I'm going to turn off the video while I prepare my screen. So we are going to move this off to the side for a second, and I'm going to close this window. I'm going to bring back our now infamous slide presentation. Here is the Google Slides presentation that we plan to record. And as usual, I'm going to go into presenter view and orient this screen. And this is the specific part of the screen that I plan to record. Now, something that's interesting about Zoom, kind of putting this off to the side, I am going to bring my camera back on, because if you want to record yourself and your screen, your camera needs to be on. What's unique about Zoom is the fact that when you present and share your screen, it doesn't actually matter where your camera shows up on the camera. Zoom will decide where it goes in the recording, and I will show you what I mean. So let's pretend we had other people in this meeting. What you would do is, it's more obvious when this window is bigger. You're going to click Share Screen, and I'm actually going to click so that you can see that there are different options. You can either record a specific window, you can choose a desktop, or what we're going to do is go under Advanced. We're going to record just a portion of the screen. So when you click Share, it's going to give you this green box, and I'm just dragging it over here. You can click on the corner to move this around. It's a little finicky. But now you can see my face is in this little box off to the side. But even if I put this right smack dab in the middle, any of Zoom's controls don't appear in the recording. Similarly, if you saw the Zoom bar, neither of these two elements are going to appear in the recording where you see them. They're both going to be invisible. So I usually keep them off to the side like this, and I usually keep the chat menu right here if I'm actually doing a live workshop. What will happen is I am going to hit record, but Zoom is going to put this either in the top right corner like this, or sometimes off to the side. They claim that if you use this recording style, which is called recording portion of the screen, that they'll put the video off to the side. but I've now done this enough to know that sometimes it still covers the top right corner. So my best advice for you, if you plan to record videos in Zoom, whether they're actually live workshops or if you're doing what I'm doing where no one else is here, I would just recommend that you don't put anything important in the top right corner of your graphics. So what I'm going to do now is in this menu, I'm going to click record to the cloud. And I can tell that it's recorded because there's this small cloud recording icon. It's in this green bar on the bottom. And then maybe I'll let this just go on for a minute so that we can see the recording. Ultimately, though, we will be finished. And the way you can end a recording is either by ending the meeting or stopping the recording. I am actually going to end the meeting, and then I'll pull this up in Zoom to show you where the recordings go. When you log into Zoom, I'm looking at the recordings tab along the left, and here is our recording. It is still processing. It typically takes about the length of the recording for it to finish processing, so we'll just give this a minute to finish. Now that it's finished processing, you can access the recording by clicking the name of the file, and you'll see there are always at least two options, downloading it with the speaker view or downloading the audio-only file. I'm going to pull up another recording in a second to show you another example, but when you click on this icon, you can see that because we use the setting record portion of the screen, it put my camera off to the side, which is what I prefer. So that's why I strongly recommend using the portion of